What's happening, you rock and roll Kiss maniacs? You got Steve Brown from Trickster, Sometimes Def Leppard, Tokyo Motor Fist, Rubik's Cube, and the co-producer, co-writer of Ace Frehley's brand new spectacular album, 10,000 Volts. And we are here, and you are listening to my good friends, Tom and Zeus. This is the Shout It Out Loudcast. Turn it up. All hail, all things Kiss. Rock and roll all night and shout it out loudcast every day. People! Shout it out loud, yeah. Shout it out loud, yeah. Shout it out loud, yeah. I like it.
The year is 1987, and the album is the self-titled classic by the band Whitesnake. Welcome to episode 63 of the Album Review Crew, where we'll be talking about this essential album in hair metal history. We're soon going to be joined by our friend Stephen Michael of the Growin Up Rock Podcast, but for now, Zeus, it's me and you. What's up?
Well, we are going to have Stephen back, which is nice. We've had him on for a couple Kiss episodes. Nice to have Stephen back, fresh off the Monsters of Rock cruise, what we used to refer to as the Dork cruise or whatever it was.
Right. That's right.
But I always like when and I was talking to Steve Wright from Hotter Than Hell yesterday. I like when they do their review episodes. It goes to Hotter Than Hell, and then they do the other half on Growin Up Rock, and it's always funny because I always say the same thing. It's always like, yeah, but then we saw this band, and this band was great. What do you think? Yeah, I like the band. I think they do this. Yeah, I like the band because they played some other song. Sonny, this is just brutal. And I'm like, God bless him. This is it. He's still alive. He hasn't
just terrible.
It's always, and I told Steve Wright that. He started laughing. He's like, he's Steve. Sonny's always on an island, so we miss him too here a little bit, guys. A little bit. Yeah. Anyway, Tom, but before we get to that, we did Elvis 68 comeback special last month. We always start with a poll. How'd that go?
Yep. So we asked everybody, as always, which of these was your favorite tracks. This was obviously tricky because, everything was pretty much a medley. So the options were the Hound Dog medley, the one kind of filled with all the hits. The medley with Trouble and Guitar Man, the medley with Nothingville, which I like that one, and then, of course, If I Can Dream. Trouble and Guitar Man wins the poll at 36%, the Hound Dog Hits medley at 33%, If I Can Dream at 28%, and only 3% of you like the Nothingville medley. God, I love that one.
You should have put the gospel in that one. I didn't have nothing
I know.
On the Instagram.
I know, it's tough.
You should have won because I'm saved. I'm saved. Come on, Tom. Give us that one line that you like on that part. Come on.
Which one? There's so many. I don't know which one.
Well,
What, I used to lie and cheat and step on people's feet?
What's the other one? What about the hoochie coo?
I used to do that. I like how he equates stepping on people's feet with lying and cheating. Those are all the same. Well,
I think it's the analogy of it, not like literally walking in the street and stomping people's feet.
Yeah, it could be worse. I could be telling a lie to you, but I'm going to step on your shoes instead.
Yeah.
Beach Boys of the Goat says, If I Can Dream is the best performance. It's kind of great he never sang it again. But if I have to pick my favorite, it's the Trouble Guitar Man medley. So hold on here, Zeus, real quick. You're the Elvis guy. He never sang If I Can Dream again after that?
He sang If I Can Dream live in that studio, and then he did the performance of that when they filmed it.
Right.
And I don't believe he did that again. I've never seen it on it. I don't have any.
Wow.
I don't have any live version. Dude, have any idea how many singles Elvis released in his life.
Like 7,000. Like,
exactly.
That's all he did.
Yeah, it's like Johnny Cash and George Jones. All those people had like 2,000 songs at least.
No, it's true. It's true. Buddy Daryl Albert says his last live show in 1961 showed he still had it before the Colonel steered him into one progressively inane movie after another. Okay. Our good buddy Izzy Presley, when he's not eating donuts, he's commenting on our tweets there. Oh my God, I have so many notes, comments, and facts about this. It's driving me crazy. Love the episode. My God, wish I could have been a part of it. Great job, guys.
So Izzy, we text, and I had no idea that he is just as big as an Elvis fan as I am. I had no idea.
Neither.
We were going back and forth. Izzy, be on standby. I might need you in a little bit for things that might be coming down the pipe. So anyway, thank you.
Daryl Albert once again posts best pop rock male vocal of all time, and it's the official performance from YouTube of Elvis singing "If I Can Dream." That's freaking incredible. Even if you don't like Elvis, God's sakes. Buddy Tom Dust, love the episode. Elvis was the law in my house growing up, and then he found a cassette of him that he recorded of him trying to sing along while his dad played the guitar. That's a keepsake, my friend. That's pretty fucking awesome.
Dude, there's not a time that I don't hear from Tom Dust that I'm not like, you are the fucking man.
Love that. Love him.
Love him.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, him and Richard should be Hall of Famers for Builders.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I agree.
Did we not name Tom Dust?
I don't think, even with the music that he does for us, we never put him in.
I thought maybe we did this year. I don't know.
That was bad of us. Okay. Vet Halen, I was starting to think there would be no, we got to win this race, but Tom saved the day. Well, of course, we got to do that. Our buddy Steve, great choice. Loving the variety of picks. Keep up the awesome work. And then, of course, he has If I Can Dream as his number one ranked. And that's what we got in the world of Twitter for Elvis this time, Zeus.
So over on the Book of Face, I put Elvis in the post in an Elvis group, and it fucking blew up.
Wow, really?
Yeah, there's over 600 interactions here on this thing. So I'm only going to pick fucking the ones that I'm just going to scroll through this quickly. We don't have all day. So the great Jason Warden, awesome pick, Zeus, introducing Kiss Tards to something legendary. Long live the king. Darren Hunt, now you're speaking my language. Can't wait to check this out. Kevon Japson. Giggity, 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 giggity. I was sure happy to see Zeus so excited and giddy throughout the whole episode. I love Elvis. My parents always listened to him around the house. Apparently, I was singing Hound Dog around the house before I got into Kiss at 3 years old. This was a fun one, guys. They were probably just saying horn dog to you, not hound dog. The great Anthony Barone from ABCPA Inc. and Hall of Famer just put a king's crown as an image.
Nice.
Christina Reimers writes, Elvis was the best singer ever. Eric Solomon writes, excellent. Can't wait to hear this one, especially since I'm an Elvis collector with over 200 albums, 500 CDs. The 68 comeback is in my top 5 favorites. Shit, you may have more than I do. And that's saying a lot. So let's go over to our Loudcasters group. And on our Loudcasters, Bobby Kenner says, this is truly an awesome pick. Can't wait to listen. What a legendary fucking album and special. And remember watching it as a kid with my grandmother way back in the 80s and just blown away by it. Love Ryan too. Can't wait to see what he brings to the table as well. Zane Beasley. A million thank yous for this one. Best ARC ever.
Wow.
I really can't put into words how much I've anticipated this from hearing Zeus always say he's been trying to figure out how to cover this amazing performance with all the different versions that are out there. I didn't think it was possible to single out one particular, but you guys knocked it out of the park. Grand Slam home run. Wow. Best podcast ever. Can't say enough. Can't express how much I love this show.
Oh my God.
Thank you guys for doing all that you do. Keep it on, keeping on.
Wow. If we did a comment of the week or a comment of the month for ARC, that
Comment
would be
of the year. Yes.
Yeah, that's amazing. Thank you. Wow.
There are more. Matt Wallace says, just ordered the DVD set. That's fucking what I love to hear.
Nice.
Jody Harriman replicates the Elvis line throughout the fucking 6-day comeback. My boy. Never in the history of the world has there been anyone who's come even remotely close to Elvis cool.
Nice.
Chris Barrera, looking forward to this episode, but I could say that every week. No doubt Elvis was at his physical peak as he made an effort to be ready for the moment. I always liked this period best when he quits the movies, starts recording great tunes, and puts the awesome band together and begins his road odyssey. Excellent Netflix documentary that tells the story how the special came to be. Highly recommend. Yep, we talked about that. Frank Anzalone, I swear, Elvis could make a straight man gay. No, not me, but that's okay. Seriously, though, it was such a cool episode with an awesome guest in Ryan. He's definitely one of the A-listers out there. What I love most about this episode was how it reignited my interest in Elvis. I remember as a 4-year-old in 77 when Elvis died, my mother and her sister stunned and crying. Even as a little kid, I got it. I could understand how this guy was truly the king and the impact he had on people, especially women. Great job as always, fellas. I'm beginning to think these outside the box type episodes are what makes the podcast and the Loudcaster group so awesome. Well done.
Ooh, thank you.
Yeah, Michael Murphy adds, Elvis inspired some great artists, none more talented than the man in this picture, and it's Booger Presley on the mean guitar from
Nice.
Lambda. And with Scott Wheeler, who writes, I never thought I'd say about a podcast from you guys, but this one had me choked up and teary-eyed as I listened to Zeus and thought about my mother. I loved hearing Zeus and could feel the love and enthusiasm in his voice for Elvis. It took me back to being a kid and my mom's absolute love for Elvis, how we watched his movies together, listened to his music, and sadly watched TV endlessly when we heard about his death. It was a great memory. It took me back many years. Thank you so much for a great episode. Well,
Jesus,
Scott,
wow. Thank you.
I hope you enjoyed that, but thank you for the kind words. And stay tuned, all you Elvis lovers. You'll see what's coming up. Over on YouTube, Tom, one comment here, and it says, geez, here comes the Elvatards. Okay. Back to you, buddy.
All right, let's see what we got on Instagram. We got a comment from Zeus. It's the eggplant emoji, which means he got a big boner for this episode.
Yeah.
Jamnick Network says, yes, definitely checking this out this evening. Ryan Esposito, Parker Schilling, Vernon Spencer Cook, I'm sure will be a great guest. Elvis was on fire at this time in his black leather outfit. He is untouchable. Mike Throne 66, great episode. If I Can Dream is a great social commentary song that is still relevant today. Our buddy Joe Decker, what an unexpected pick. I was 7 years old at a family gathering at my grandparents' house. The TV was on and the broadcast was interrupted by the news letting the world know that Elvis died. I'll never forget the audible gasp of every adult in the room, the happy event turning somber, and seeing my mom crying. At the time, I had no idea how much Elvis meant to people. I've never been a fan, but after hearing this episode, clearly I've been missing out. He really was the king. Great episode, guys. Dave Rockstar, awesome choice for a review and another great episode, guys. I grew up listening to Elvis music from when I could remember, as my older sister and mom were big fans. Nobody could sing as well as the king or look as cool, in my opinion. Real Kyle Kifa says, huh? Okay, well, you've never heard of Elvis before? Okay. Lane Brewer, phenomenal episode, lifelong Elvis fan. Ryan was an incredible guest. Sat at the table next to him in Florida once prior to an Ace show with my college-age son, who was born in Memphis and wears a custom-made TCB necklace to this day. Wanted to say hello, but didn't want to bother him. Had no idea he was such a cool dude. Big regret. Oh, Ryan's fucking amazing. It's amazing. Then Lane Brewer says, continues, I have to add, while I was in college in the mid-'90s, I got to attend a concert backstage where Scotty Moore and DJ Fontana backed up Ronnie McDowell. During first act, I see an elderly man with a guitar case trying to weave his way through the crowd and seemed to need assistance, so I went out and helped him. It was Scotty Moore, and not a single person. And not a single person, mostly younger kids, knew who he was. I thought to myself, if they only knew how important this guy was to the start of rock and roll. Wow. Pretty fucking awesome.
Scotty Moore, wow.
Yep. And a couple emails here. Let's look at our friend Rick Hickey. Zeus, put me down as a pro bono research assistant for if you start an Elvis podcast. I'm a regular listener to Shout It Out Loudcast and a serious Elvis fan. He was my first concert on October 6, 1974 at the University of Dayton Arena. I actually have a bootleg CD of that show. My dad took me when I was 7 years old. Coolest dad ever. He also took me to see the Dynasty tour 5 years later. And a shit ton of Oak Ridge boys, too. So great to hear you two plus Ryan going on and on about the King on this episode. Ryan's humor and deep insight was the perfect foil for this episode. A class act and a true performer. It's no surprise that Ryan is an Elvis fan. Almost drove my car off the road when he mentioned Glow, Gorgeous Ladies of Wrestling. I used to be pen pals with one of the lady wrestlers. Also, you'll appreciate this. I met Scotty Moore and DJ Fontana at an Evansville Nostalgia and Collectibles book signing back in the 90s. Met a few celebrities in my time, but not many rank up there with Scotty Moore. Zeus, I implore you, listen back to Scotty's fucked up guitar break at the 119 mark in the original Hound Dog. And then tell me you hate that song. There is nothing like that in the entire history of rock and roll guitar playing. Shit sounds like an armful of farm implements being thrown down a metal staircase. Fucking brilliant. Not even Richie Blackmore can conjure that kind of racket. Anyway, love you guys. Keep up the good work. Tom, take out a mellow yellow to the shed for Ace and tell him it's from me. Oh, that's a great email, Rick. And then we finish up here with one from our buddy Sid Garrison. Gentlemen, thank you so much for an entertaining program. I have only ever listened to the Kiss-related shows, but this was a must-listen, as I am a huge Elvis fan thanks to my father. However, I wasn't prepared for such an enjoyable show. It brought back so many poignant memories of my dad and our lives being together with Elvis in it. So many things you all touched on was spot on with my life and dad. I recall being 3 years old when the 68 comeback special was on. There are a few things I vividly remember, but I remember how upset I was when Big Boss Man was bullying Elvis.
Big Boss Man. Dun, 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 dun. Why can't you hear me when I talk? Dun, 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 dun. That fucking chick in that video is
God.
Okay.
I do remember the girl screaming, but what stuck with me most was If I Can Dream. I didn't understand what that song meant, but the performance and the emotion that came from the TV to me was an experience I have never forgotten. It's my earliest memory of being captivated by music and the performer. It will be the song I want played at my funeral. My father introduced me to Elvis. Him and I even wrote a letter to Elvis when he was in the hospital. My dad finally got to see him in one of his very last shows in Baltimore just a month or so before he passed. There was only one ticket available, and we were both heartbroken, but I knew he had to be there. Now, finally, my dad was one of those guys who did everything in his looks to be the man. The hair, the sideburns, the smile. But what made all this so difficult to listen to today, oh boy, is because my dad passed away a year ago last week, and his birthday is tomorrow. And this was written on February 26th. It was like everything you guys spoke of was everything my dad and I have talked about through the years. I love this episode. It was far better than any Kiss episode. By the way, I did take him to see Kiss in 2015. Thank you, Sid Garrison. God damn, man, these emails. Wow. Oof. Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Well,
Rest in peace.
A lot of it is Elvis kind of transcends music.
Totally. 100%.
Pop culture. He's in everything. And
that's right.
When you think of Elvis, you're not thinking of young people. You're thinking of your parents and grandparents that were into him. And so it brings back those fond memories. And I always think they're fond because you didn't have a job when you were a kid in the 70s. You just get to play outside with your friends. You didn't have any responsibility. You didn't have shit to do.
Right. So that's right.
Everything was great in the 70s, in the 80s growing up. And I think that fucking connection, and we don't remember all the bullshit that gets attached now. We just remember Elvis and this iconic imagery that we have of him and this American fucking man that was the most recognizable face in all of mankind and larger than life personality. And I'm glad we got to discuss this, and there'll be more of this to come very soon. But Tom, let's take a little break, and we'll bring Steven in to talk some Whitesnake 87.
And welcoming to album review crew for the first time, but you've heard the sweet sounds of him before on Shout It Out Loudcast, our good friend and host of the amazing Growin Up Rock Podcast, Stephen Michael, fresh off the Monsters of Rock cruise. What's up, buddy?
What's happening? No Sonny Pooney for you. You get me instead.
What an upgrade. I mean, that is the definition of an upgrade.
There you go, baby.
Stephen, thanks for coming on. You've been with us a few times prior, so you're used to the shitstorm that's called Shout It Out Loudcast. You'll be ready to go.
Yes, I'm well versed in shitology.
All right.
There you go. Yeah, exactly.
Perfect.
Yes. Yeah.
All right. So Whitesnake 1987. Damn, what we usually do is we start off with first memories, when you get into it, when you get it. Tom, why don't you lead us off?
Oh yeah. So 1987, I mean, we're all roughly the same age here. This album was just completely and totally unavoidable at the time, especially if you're an MTV kid. And obviously we'll talk about the videos, but I mean, you could not avoid Here I Go Again, Is This Love, Still the Night. And then if you bought the cassette, the whole album was just mind blowing at the time. For me, it was a step ahead of hair metal. I know this is considered Whitesnake's hair metal album because it came out in 1987. And there are, of course, hair metal elements to it. But between David Coverdale and the band that recorded this album, it's next level. And I think it's, we're pushing almost 40 years on it now. So, yeah, it's been with me since it came out in 1987. So it's to this day, it still sounds pretty amazing. It's got that, the pop metal 80s elements to it, but it's killer. Steven, what about you, buddy?
Yeah, I got into Whitesnake with Sliding In, the album that came right before this one. So I was waiting on this record for sure when it came out.
Okay.
And, yeah, I mean, I got it right away. And as you said, loved it right away. You couldn't avoid it. It was everywhere. And it is definitely the hairband era for this band because, they're basically a blues hard rock band up until this point, and then they got all those pretty boys in the band and they all had hair for miles. So yeah, this record was killer at the time, especially because fresh, there wasn't that fatigue factor with a lot of the songs that would eventually become fatigue,
Yeah, true. Zeus.
So Whitesnake, I never heard of them, didn't know who they were. I went to the Strawberries. I don't know. Is that Winchester or Woburn, where there used to be a service merchandise?
Yep, that was right on. That was in technically Woburn, I believe.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if it was one or two.
Same
and
plaza.
I walked in, and someone had that like David Coverdale, Whitesnake, big, huge, like cutout cardboard.
Yep.
And at the time, that hair metal scene, man, if you had the right look, I was picking up your cassette. Yep. So I went and picked it up, and Still the Night's on most requested videos. Yeah. And then I remember people like, oh, this is just a Zeppelin ripoff. I'm like, well, this is better than Zeppelin because I like this. And at the time I was like, Zeppelin had some stuff, and I thought this was a better song than Black Dog, which is blasphemy to some, but regardless, I bought it. And then that was probably, I'm not sure if that was my first concert I went to or AC/DC at the Garden was, but I went to the Worcester Centrum when I was a freshman, and I went with my brother and his friends. And I remember they were giving me like Jack Daniels and fucking chasing it with Bud Lights or whatever. And I was like, oh my God, this is what drinking is. This is nasty. And it was Whitesnake with Great White opening up. And I remember walking in and hearing, for my first concert ever, I think, Great White doing Face the Day. And I was like, it's the first time I heard a song that I'd never heard, but I heard it live and I liked it. I'm like, oh my God, I got to get this. And that's when Once Bitten had probably just been out and stuff. So that was one of my first concerts I ever saw, and they were great.
Wow.
I've loved, and I went backwards, bought every Whitesnake album there was, and come to find, that's not what Whitesnake sounds like when I bought the old album.
Yeah.
But it turns out I like the older stuff even better. I fucking love it. And all the way from Snakebite to fucking Trouble to Saints and Sinners and Ready and Willing, and then Come and Get It, which we've reviewed on here before. And obviously, like Steven, I went back and got Slide It In. To me, these are like two different bands. It's like getting into not knowing much, but getting into Kiss from Asylum.
Yep.
And then someone telling you, go buy some older Kiss stuff. You're like, who the fuck are these people with the makeup?
Yep.
What the fuck is this? This is the different sounding band. That's what old Whitesnake was. And it was, I don't know, it's two different bands. I like them both. I'm not sure which one I like more. It's probably leaning towards the bluesier older side. I really enjoy that Bernie Marsden, what do you call it? Mick Moody guitar combo. I think they're fantastic. Neil Murray and, John Lord and stuff. It's fantastic. This, however, is on super crack steroids, hair metal fucking combination, but it's all John Sykes and Coverdale. What a combo. And I fell in love with this. And I've loved this album ever since. And it's been in my rotation for years.
So you bought this before hearing anything from it?
Yeah. Like a lot of bands.
Okay.
I bought Guns N' Roses because I saw the shit in the magazine before. I was going to buy that or Black and Blue. I think I made the right choice.
You made the right call.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there are plenty of albums I've done that. Like I'll look at a band, I'll hear what the people saying about an album back then. I was like, all right, I'll try this out.
Yeah.
Most of the times it worked.
Yeah. So like Steven, it's funny that Steven brought up Slide It, which by the way, Whitesnake joins Metallica as the only band that we've reviewed 3 times on ARC.
And this is the third, meaning everyone's probably like, what the fuck?
Right.
You haven't done the 87 yet?
Yep. Because we did Slide It In, Come and Get It, and this one. Steven, go ahead. You were going to say something.
Who chose this record?
Oh, well, good question. This was our Patreon selection.
Yeah.
So we do the rotation. We do me, Zeus, and then the Patreons submit a bunch of albums. We pick a few, throw it out for a poll, and right out of the gate, this
blew everything away. Usually it's close.
The polls are usually close. This crushed it.
So let me get this straight. Somebody actually paid you guys to review this thing?
I guess technically speaking.
Many did. Yeah.
Yes. There you go. Yeah, because we didn't pick it on our own.
Shit, if I'm paying you something, I'm going to make it as painful as possible and pick something absolutely horrendous for you guys to review.
Well, ask Zeus because Patreon picked the Wasp debut, and that was a really fun episode we did. I liked it.
Yeah, how do you not love the Wasp debut?
Well,
Come on, guys.
Your partner is no longer on here with us, so all the pain is gone. we don't have to review some of those fucking awful albums he would choose. So, all good. We get some things that I like, some things Tom likes. It's a mixed bag from Patreon.
Yep.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
All right. So what we'll do next is we'll go to the album cover.
Yep. So the album cover, so designed by Hugh Syme, where if you're a Rush nerd like me, he was the guy behind pretty much every single classic Rush album cover. I mean, I had to read about this in Wikipedia to I just thought it was like just, a cracked concrete wall with like this little thing. But you look at it really, really, really close. I have the vinyl here. And it's a Celtic runic style amulet with elements representing sun, moon, fertility, and others. And then it says Serpens Albus, which technically means Whitesnake, which I believe that was the name of the album in certain releases on this. But I mean, it's pretty cool. I mean, I give him credit because at this time, a lot of bands were putting their faces on the cover of the album.
How could they? They don't know who the fuck's in the band.
Well, that we'll get to that too. It's a great point. Steven, album cover. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it is at this point a classic sort of cover, and the band uses this emblem pretty much to this day on various things. And Hugh Syme, man, it doesn't get a whole lot bigger than that. Like you mentioned, he did all the Rush album covers. He's a Canadian artist, and there are so many classic like Rush records to begin with, but then he's done things for Quiet Riot and Y&T and Lillian Axe and Night Ranger and all these bands. I mean, just an endless list of stuff. So pretty cool, right? Pretty simple record cover for the most part. So
yeah. I think it's cool. Zeus.
Yeah, all those bands' album covers, are those a positive thing?
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
Except I've never heard anything by Lillian Axe, so I can't comment on that.
I have their debut album. I heard so many people fucking talking about it. I had to buy it. Like, I'll get into this. I'll try them out. I heard it a couple times. Okay.
Is it like is it just like hair metal shit?
Yeah.
Pretty much. The first record is.
Yeah, it's. They're very big a cult band, I guess. Whatever.
Don't give Patreon any ideas. That'll be the next submission that they do.
Oh, God.
But I'll tell you what, even if you're not a Rush fan, right, you don't like the music, you have to admit that their album covers, the majority of their album covers are very artistic. Like, there's some really cool covers.
Oh, yeah.
And especially when you read into them and understand what's kind of going on in some of them, like Farewell to Kings and
Moving Pictures.
Moving Pictures and then Hemispheres, things like that. I mean, there's a lot of cool stuff going on. So artistically, it's very cool.
Yeah.
It's cool stuff going on the outside of the album. Is there any cool stuff?
Here we go. Here comes the Rush beating.
In the inside of the album.
Here comes the Rush beating.
Look, I'll give you credit. I mean, I thought that the Moving Pictures album cover was interesting. I don't know enough about their stuff, so
that's okay. Yeah, that's okay.
But anyways, let's get into Whitesnake, the band. So in this album, a couple facts. The album was released March 16th, 1987. A couple people dispute that. Whatever. And released March 30th in the UK. It's produced by Mike Stone and Keith Olsen. It made it to number 2, and it was held out by, I think it was like Whitney or fucking Michael Jackson.
Michael Jackson, I think. Yep.
Yeah, and 8 times platinum. Tom mentioned it was called Serpents Albus in Japan in 1987 in Europe. So the band itself that plays on this obviously is Coverdale. John Sykes had come in, right, with what's his name there? Mel Galley. Those two, that was a rare pair of guitarists, and Mick Moody kind of just left on Slide It In. So you got 87. Now you have John Sykes doing all the guitars, and the great and underrated Neil Murray is still there. I think he played on all these albums except for one. Aynsley Dunbar came in and did the drums. And then the great Don Airey, he performs keys. I don't know how many albums Don Airey's been on this show. Probably about 4 or maybe 5, I think.
Yeah, I mean, what, Ozzy? What else? Rainbow?
Oh, just he's all over the map.
Yeah.
He's part of that Rainbow, Dio, Deep Purple, fucking Yngwie. Like, there's like a incest fest going on with all those artists.
Yep.
And that's who plays on this. And like all of you, I saw that first video. I'm like, wow, what a super group this is. I recognize that guy. That guy's from Quiet Riot. I don't know who that other guitarist is, but she looks pretty. And then, that's the guy from Dio. Oh, shit. That's the fucking, I don't know, Crypt Keeper from those Ozzy videos on drums with his fucking face looks like Freddy Krueger. It just looked like I should know these people. They look like a superstar group.
Yeah.
And none of them, except for Adrian Vandenberg, actually played on this album.
Right.
And it's just funny. It was just completely different.
So it's interesting because I have the 30th anniversary double vinyl of this. And we'll get into when we start doing the track by track, we're reviewing the 9-track 1987 edition of this album. So I have the 2017 double vinyl. The track listing's all over the place. It's got one of the extra songs, which we'll talk about. It's got some bonus tracks, some live stuff. But the interesting thing on the back cover is that it says Whitesnake 1987 album lineup. And then it says Whitesnake 1987-88 World Tour lineup. So it tells you right off the bat, like what Zeus just discussed, which I think is interesting that they did that. And you're right. When you watch I mean, David Coverdale was like, you guys are all fired. I'm not taking you on tour here. So of course, like Zeus mentioned, like all the incestuous relationship with those British bands and that whole Rainbow, Deep Purple, Whitesnake stuff. But yeah, I mean, Coverdale's obviously the key, the straw that stirs the drink here for sure for Whitesnake, Stephen.
Yeah, that's right. And I mean, there's been a whole lot of like remixes and radio mixes, and they got Adrian Vandenberg involved on a guitar solo from Here I Go Again 87. They got Vivian a guitar solo on the 88 mix of Give Me All Your Love. So there's all kinds of things going on, including, and one of the cool things is they had Dan Huff do the guitar solo on the radio mix of Here I Go Again 87. Now, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Dan Huff or not, but Dan's a well-known Nashville producer these days, but he started out in a melodic hard rock band called Giant. And
I know them.
He's so good. I mean, he's a great singer, but he's a great guitar player. And so he was involved with this as well. So all kinds of people with their hands in the pie. You know what I mean?
Yeah. With this album, too, I mean, right off the bat, Coverdale even said, I want this to be leaner, meaner, more electrifying. I don't want to stay with the same traditional blues and pop. It was, he kind of said it was kind of like an Americanization. So pretty much what he's saying, he's using a lot of big words saying, I need to be popular because hair metal's huge in the United States, right, Zeus? I mean, kind of that's what he did.
Yeah, he took the sound and made it more hair metal-ish.
Yeah.
Sykes' guitar is just fucking top all over the place.
Yep.
And they came up with a different sound than the classic traditional Whitesnake sound, and it paid off for him.
Yeah. Stephen, anything you want to talk about here with the band, the production, before we get into the tracks?
Production wise, I mean, and I'll probably say it a few times throughout the tracks and all, but for me, pound for pound, this is probably one of the best guitar sounds on album.
There you go.
The way that John Sykes' guitar was produced on this record is amazing to me. They doubled it, tripled it. I don't know, from the way that he runs his hand up the string at the beginning of Still of the Night. It's so thick and so warm sounding. I absolutely love it. That's one of the things I fell in love with first before any of this stuff.
Yeah, so true. Zeus, go ahead.
Yeah, this guitar player, Sykes, it's Vinnie Vincent-like in this sense. He came in and only showed his brilliance on a couple albums and was gone. And nothing, I know he was in Thin Lizzy before this and stuff, but like the brilliance came out on this specific album. He did all the guitars, where he was with Mel on Slide It In the US version. And I think it doesn't get as much credit. He had a short run here. He didn't really find the success afterwards, which is too bad. We just lost him. He just passed away.
Yep.
But he was fucking amazing. And it's one of those things that you just wish they could have put their differences aside and put out a couple more albums, like AKA Vinny and Kiss. But it just couldn't work. The personalities clash. They're fucking fighting in the studio, and Coverdale basically fires everybody. So, well, at least we got this album out of him. So
he's like a lot of other artists. Sometimes they just can't get out of their own way. He had a lot of demons, and he wasn't a terribly motivated individual when it came to putting out music and things like that. So I hate it, because I think there was a lot of brilliance left in John Sykes, whether it was Blue Murder or solos or solo records or whatever. Have you guys heard him do some of the stuff from the 87 where he's playing and singing?
I have not heard that. No.
He's got a live record out in Japan where he plays and sings some of the Whitesnake tunes from this 87 record. He's so damn talented. Oh man, it sounds
got a pretty
amazing.
Decent voice, yeah.
Yeah. He sounds amazing. I mean, go look it up, go, stream it or whatever. It's John Sykes live in Japan. I don't know exactly what it's called, but you can find it out there somewhere. And it's just listen to him do like Still of the Night and Crying in the Rain and some things like that. He's pretty damn good.
Yeah, and I totally forgot until you just said it, Stephen, the whole Blue Murder thing with there's some good stuff on there, on that album. And I totally forgot he was involved in that too. Yeah, no, he was great. And you're right, Zeus, he just recently passed, and like on social media, the amount of people that just quietly just crushed it. And when he passed, that's when all that outpouring comes out. And you're like, damn, this guy, we think of him with this album, but yeah, there was a little bit more there too.
So let's get into the tracks. First track.
So we open up with Crying in the Rain, because again, we're doing the original 1987 North American track listing here. So Crying in the Rain kicks off the album here. Right off the bat, just an absolute punch in the face right here. Coverdale's vocals, the guitar. I mean, what a way to start the album right there. Just so powerful, but then it settles into a really cool groove, a really, really nice groove. And when the little breakdown comes and Sykes goes into solo mode, it's just, I mean, we talked about hair metal before, and I'll probably say this now, and I may repeat myself because I do that sometimes on ARC. This is like a big boy band looking at the hair metal bands of the era and just pushing them aside and saying, that's really nice what you're doing over here. Let the big boys do it this way, because this band, particularly Sykes and Coverdale, crush it. And this is an absolutely killer opening track. I love this. And it goes different places, the breakdown, the solo, the chorus, just a killer opening track, Stephen.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I'm a little bit torn, I'll be honest with you, as to whether this is a good opening track or whether the opening of the album would be better served by a riff like Bad Boys, just out of the gate, just hard and fast. I like to be kicked in the face. Now, that's not to say this isn't a good opening track. I'm just telling you I'm a little bit torn. And the reason I'm torn is because, like you said, it punches you in the face with that big riff, and then you get Coverdale's vocals just dry and out there and just powerful, right? But then it sort of settles into that slower kind of prodding groove. And to me, that doesn't scream opening track, right? Opening track to me screams hard and fast. That's what she said. But anyway, but I do like it. And, maybe if you flip-flop Bad Boys and Crying in the Rain, that might work too. So just a thought.
No, fair enough. Zeus.
All right. So Crying in the Rain, all the songs are basically written by Coverdale and Sykes, but this one is specifically written by Coverdale because it was on Saint and Sinner. That's album.
Right. Yep.
And before I get into this album, the difference is that version, everything is just slowed down a bit. And you listen to this, you're like, whoa, somebody just hit the speed button. But that is just slower. The song breathes more. It's more bluesy and things like that. But regardless, I like that there's two different versions. This version, I remember hearing it the first time, buying this album. And I'm like, it catches you off guard. It's like a black cat moans when he's burning. There's a fine line if this was somebody else singing this. If you
100%.
If you opened up a Poison album with Bret Michaels saying this, you'd fucking die laughing if he started to try to sound like this. Coverdale can pull it off. He's got that fine line between cheesiness and so much schlock, but it works for him because does it with a wink. He doesn't do it like he's all serious, like, listen to me write these sleazy lyrics or whatever. It works for him. He has some credibility behind him. He's in Deep Purple. He's had a blues album, a blues band like Whitesnake for years. So it kind of pulls it off. The riff is insane. When he gets into that fucking solo, That's insane.
Yeah.
It's just like, and you're just blown away by the guitar and stuff. The song is just, what the fuck just happened to me? Like, what is this? It's really just fucking over the top, but it works. It does.
Zeus, I have to jump in here real quick because I'm glad you said it because I was going to eventually get to it, but I'll say it now. Coverdale, and I'm not breaking any ground, or this is not a hot take, but Coverdale saves this. Save is a strong word. Prevents this album from becoming schlocky hair metal because he's so good as a vocalist. He's so good at his just his singing, his pitch, his melody, his growl, his groove. That you're right. If anybody else did this, you'd be like, what was that opening line? A black cat does what?
Yeah. This record has the thing about this record with not only Coverdale's vocals, but the grooves that are throughout this record is sexy. It's the difference between sexy and sleazy. So somebody like you mentioned Bret Michaels or Vince Neil or whatever, if they were to sing something like this, it would borderline cheesy and be sleazy. It's cheesy, sleazy. But with Coverdale, it's sexy. I mean, the grooves are sexy. It makes you, dry hump.
I ain't dry humping to anything, but that's okay.
It's a good but I get it.
He's got that credibility to pull this off.
I think that's the good term, Zeus. Credibility. He
can do it. You don't laugh at him doing this because he's been a frontman vocalist. He's not just a frontman showman. He's all actually, if he just did the jumps, it'd be like David Lee Roth, but with vocals, right? But he can't do the Roth stuff. But you believe him when he's the frontman out there. And same thing with Roth. You believe David Lee Roth, whatever it is. I don't care how bad his vocals may sound or whatever. Roth is a frontman. Coverdale is a frontman. These guys are in their own fucking league, I think, of being able to lead a band.
Steven said it perfectly. David Lee Roth is like you said, frontman, the party band leader, right? David Coverdale looks like he's gonna fuck you with the mic stand, and you're gonna enjoy it while he does it. like it just we'll get into the videos, but there's something about it, like, ooh, David, all right, I get it.
Just follow his Twitter thing, which is still legendary to this day. It's
classic,
all with a wink and a smile, and
everything
all cheesy.
Yep,
and it's over the top. Paul Stanley, Gene Simmons sexuendos that he fucking puts in his songs.
Yep.
That it's just what it is, it is what it is. But anyway, let's go into track number 2.
So we go to Bad Boys. What was it in this era? You got Bad Boys running wild, you got Wild in the Streets, was everybody really running around in 1987?
Yeah. They're all in the streets.
They're all in the
wild,
streets. They're going
in
wild.
Big cities.
They're all
going
bad.
on the street. Yeah, dude, I lived in a small town. I've been nobody's running around fucking the Warriors, just fucking going nuts in the street.
Did you ever go out on a Friday night and go, ow, 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 ow?
I did actually on 7 drunken stupors.
But again, but this is the point. Dave, maybe we're giving him too much credit because we love David Coverdale, but I feel like Zeus said, it is a little bit of a wink and a smile. It's my note right here, and I said David Coverdale saves this song from being awful because the music is great, the groove is great, the band crushes, the solo is next level. Again, John Sykes just absolutely taking everybody to school here. But the lyrics are super corny. The chorus is super corny. Any other band does this, and it becomes, a leftover track on some 80s compilation album.
Yeah.
But they're doing it with this band and this vocalist, and you're like, God damn, the song fucking rips, Steven.
Yeah, look, it is the 80s, and hard rock is synonymous with rock you, bad boys, all the girls want a bad boy, right? That comes back to all the girls want a bad boy in leather. And that's what hard rock was. I mean, whether they had big hair or not big hair, it all comes back to that. You can find a billion songs from hard rock bands in the 80s that had bad or rock in the title.
Totally.
Guaranteed.
Yep.
Guaranteed.
Oh,
and
boys.
Yeah. I mean, just completely. But I don't know. I've never been a lyrics guy, and I'm probably kind of happy for that because I would probably hate a lot more hard rock than I did. I listened to the music first, and the riff. Too. The riff is the first thing that grabs me. I mean, you get that chugging riff by Sykes, and I absolutely love it. And then, David can sing the phone book. I mean, we talk about frontmen and David Lee Roth, and he's got his own style and his own voice, and that's true. But technically speaking, I mean, Coverdale had the full package, right? He could fuck a mic stand, and at the same time, he could sing the phone book. I mean, the guy had chops for days, right?
It's true. Yeah, and I'm not really a lyric guy per se. I mean, for Christ's sake, Kiss is my favorite band. But I do think when and this is not the last time they talk about like running in the streets and doing stuff. We'll get into that. But anyway, Zeus.
Yeah, Bad Boys is a good song that just nothing's going to stick out and be like, oh my God, that song is such a classic. It's just one of many songs that you like on this album. Like even those songs that aren't as popular, they're still, breaking news, this album is fucking awesome. This song is a good song on it. This continues the theme and the trend that was started from the first song. Could I put this? I'm trying to think of Steven, if this makes his number one. I don't think so. I think it's a good song to be number two, but it also, Crying in the Rain is just a fucking punch in the face with the riff, and just so different that if you start the album with it, it's so distinctive. Like, Crying in the Rain is that opening riff. And then you go right into this, fast-paced rocker. Not heavy, but goddamn, he had melody, right?
Yep.
All these songs are extremely melodic. The production is crisp and clean. John's guitars are fantastic. I just think it's another solid song on this album. Anyway, let's go to song number 3.
Still of the Night. So this is the song Zeus kind of hinted at the beginning. This is the song that a lot of people who may not have been diehards, listen to the previous albums. This might have been their first exposure to Whitesnake, or the first thing to think of is Led Zeppelin and Robert Plant. Fair enough. Black Dog, that kind of stuff. So to me, it's been almost 40 years, and this song comes on the radio all the time. It's on playlists and stuff. But, every time we do ARC, you really spend a lot of time with the albums, listen to the songs. This fucking song is just incredible. This song has aged so wonderfully for me. 40 years later, I still think it has absolutely one of the most balls out riffs in all of hard rock. I think this is one of the all-time great hard rock songs, period. That main riff is just absolutely incredible. The breakdown that everybody knows, especially from the video, which we'll talk about, when he comes in there with the bow, and he does the solo, and then one of my favorite things, Robert Plant's famous for it, but every time he throws the mama and the baby, but right at the end of that little breakdown, when he says, "Get over here, baby," and it just goes, it just gets right into that main riff. I mean, this should be their signature song, which it is, because I think this is everything that's great about 80s hard rock, everything that's great about Whitesnake. Guitar World called it the best song that Led Zeppelin ever wrote, which I think is kind of interesting because we all agree with that kind of. But Still of the Night, I mean, it's been played to death, but I never get sick of it, Steven.
Yeah, I never turn it off either as many times as I've heard it. And I will say it's fatigue, but somehow it just keeps getting played at higher volumes.
Yep.
I remember when I was first sort of new with the guitar and learning to play guitar, I ended up playing this in a cover band a few times with some friends of mine. And when it came to the breakdown and the violin bow part, that just turned into a bunch of kind of just noise making section basically. Live, and I used to rip off the riff from Whole Lot of Love, just the da-na-na-na-na. That little part I would throw in there every so often. It worked. It actually sounded pretty good with it. So just a killer riff, man. So much fun. Such a fun song to play, such a fun song to listen to. I absolutely love it.
Yep.
Yeah, so this song is so different. It's the first song I picked up from them, and I remember listening to it, and to me it is a better song than Black Dog. I've never been a big fan of Black Dog, as you can tell from our Zeppelin Chronicles.
Yep.
It's just musicianship. He pulls this off because it's him and Sykes.
Yep.
That's the fucking difference.
Totally.
And with the bow and then the way the song goes, I just remember a lot of the older kids just being like, this is a fucking poser band. Are you shitting me? This isn't Led Zeppelin. This is bullshit. And I know Robert Plant fucking hated him for this and hated the fact that Page went out and played with Coverdale.
Oh, yeah.
And gave him credibility. There's fucking live performances of Page playing this song with Coverdale. And that fucked up. He's playing
sick.
And it's still the night. It's
dude,
just
that Coverdale Page album is fucking incredible. I'm sorry.
It's just he got a lot of shit about it. Coverdale's like, what are you talking about? I didn't copy this. The song and the main riff is inspired by Jailhouse Rock and Jeff Beck's Rice Pudding. Come on, buddy. Come on, what are we talking about? Hey,
love it.
You ain't that high. You ain't that high.
You ain't that high.
But apparently, the song was from an old demo he had with Richie Blackmore.
Imagine that.
Which, I'm like, I don't know if that sounds like a Blackmore riff, but apparently it was.
It doesn't sound like one, but yeah.
No, but regardless, they pull it off. It's got some similarities to Crying in the Rain. But the vocals are off the charts, the breakdown, the guitar and stuff. And then we get to the video, which is probably everyone's first kind of introduction to Whitesnake. You guys want to take over?
Yeah, I'll start. So, I mean, right off the bat, you're like, these guys, this is the most good-looking band ever. Like, these are the most handsome.
Did you see the drummer?
These are the most handsome group of men ever, and it's just. And I love the section with the breakdown with the bow, the violin thing, and just everything that they're doing. It's one of those videos like when you're a kid, you're like, I want to do that. I want to be that guy in a black leather duster with an electric guitar, holding it up like this. Yeah. Like it's incredible. It's just so badass. And and Rudy looks like a kid, which he probably was back then in 1987, 88. But yeah, I mean, I love the video. I watched all these. I was like, God damn, I remember seeing this on MTV and waiting for it to come on. And when it would come on, I'd be like, damn, these guys rip. Steven.
Yeah, I mean, I was the same way. I don't know how in depth you were with the guys from their previous bands, but I was into Vivian Campbell. I was into Adrian Vandenberg. I was into Rudy Sarzo and Tommy Aldridge. So I knew all the guys in the band, in depth. When I saw that, I was like, holy shit, man, this band is freaking killer.
Yeah.
And I had done, because at the time that this record came out, I was working in a music store, and I had done some guitar clinics for Randall amps. So Vivian was playing Randall amps at the time and came in and did some guitar clinics and things like that, and would travel from one guitar store to the other, and I would travel with them because of the Randall rep, and I had a relationship, had a conversation, and we worked together basically. So being able to do that, when Whitesnake came to town, I got backstage passes for that. So I saw this tour with these guys, and It's just incredible. I mean, really, really killer band. I mean, just such great players, man.
So I don't know what the fuck is wrong with you two. How has nobody talked about Tawny Katane yet?
Oh, we're getting there.
Because I wanted to save that for the real Tawny Katane videos.
Hey, let me just tell you, I've got notes on all the videos because I had to rewatch all the videos. I haven't seen them in so long. And at the beginning of every one of my notes, Tawny dash, here I go again, Tawny dash.
Yeah, I wanted to say Tawny. Yeah, I wanted to save my Tawny comments because there's one video that's in particular, we'll get to it, but go ahead.
But just incredible. So I saw in the notes here that it was supposed to be a young Claudia Schiffer, whatever her name is.
Oh, Claudia Schiffer. Yeah. Yep. I remember her.
Schiffer, whatever the fuck her name is.
Yep.
She was supposed to do it, but she couldn't. And the guy that was doing this, Marty Kallner, who I think just died today.
What?
Did you see that? Yeah, he just died. Because I saw David Coverdale.
Oh, wow.
Posted about him, like, my dear friend just passed away. He said something on Twitter.
Okay.
Coverdale's fiance was like, wow, she's fucking hot. Put her in the video. He should have said, She used to bang Robin Crosby and was on the cover of Rat albums. So that's what eventually gave her that fame. So God bless him. But yeah, apparently he died today. So
wow,
bless that guy as well. Still the Night is still legendary. It made it to number 79 on Billboard, 18 on Mainstream Rockers. And I think it just opened him up. It may not have been the right opening single, but I think it was because it introduced these guys as hard guys versus Here I Go Again as their first song.
Totally agree.
Because now you're interested in what they've got next, and they have your attention.
Well, plus it was different because in 1987, nobody was really on MTV. I mean, there was hard rock, but you're right. If they came out with Here I Go Again, it would have been swallowed up by all the other hair metal, glammy anthem. This was a band that was like showcasing like hard rock, like almost Guns N' Roses-y type stuff, but even more kind of, like Steven said, sexy and bluesy.
But also by this super group who now has your attention. And now you're going to watch what their next single is. And that's this.
Here I Go Again. So in my opinion, I mean, it's been played to death. I mean, for Christ's sake, my 82-year-old mother knows this song and likes it. You can't not like the song. You might just be sick of it. Like You Shook Me All Night Long and friggin' Welcome to the Jungle or whatever. It's just been beaten into the ground. But we always say that it's been beaten into the ground because it's that good. This, to me, has one of the most memorable, iconic, legendary glam hair metal choruses of all time. Like, you don't even have to, I mean, it's right up there with something like the chorus from Living on a Prayer or a chorus from, Pour Some Sugar on Me. It's one of those types of songs. That being said, I really think it's derivative. It's very forced. And I mean, obviously I know what they were going for, but when you hear, Crying in the Rain and Still the Night, and then this, you're like, oh man, you ain't that hard, David Coverdale. You ain't that, like, they did what every other band would did. They wanted to get their play. And I mean, this put them into the stratosphere. It's a pop culture iconic song. And so good on them, Stephen.
Yeah. When I heard it, that's what I said. I knew it was a fluke.
Yeah. Yep.
After the first three songs. But yeah, look, it's a polished pop tune with a little bit of rock and roll played by a bunch of good looking dudes. You're going to bring in all the women with this song. Like you pointed out, I mean, it's an iconic 80s tune. It is. I mean, it's in movies, right? It's in old school and all kinds of movies. So, and then you've got the, iconic high part from David Coverdale, that's just, it is what it is. It's its own thing now. And it's okay. I don't hate it. It's a decent tune. It's a well-made tune. It's just not my bag. That's all.
I got you.
All right. So this song was written by Coverdale and the late, great Bernie Marsden, whose family will be thanking that his name was on this song. His great-grandchildren will be getting royalties on this song. I love it. Another one that, just like Crying in the Rain, was original on Satan's Sinner, with the big famous part of it being like a hobo, I was born to walk alone, which I'm not sure is a real popular song in the lexicon of the United States in 1987.
Right.
So a drifter, it's a little bit different.
A hobo.
Yeah. So if you listen to the early version, it's got John. You hear a little bit of Don Airey doing a little homage to fucking John Lord's, and John Lord has that Zeppelin fucking classic Hammond organ that you hear in that Deep Purple, and all that other kind of music. It's beautiful, and it's just slower, just like Crying in the Rain. And here I go again on my and then this is just faster, a little bit more keys than organs. Mm-hmm. And it's still just, maybe I would say, and this is Mount Rushmore of what people call 80s hair metal.
Oh, yeah, I agree.
Living on a Prayer.
Pour Some Sugar on Me.
Pour Some Sugar on Me.
Yep.
And I don't know what else I'm missing, but those are the big songs of the 80s. When you
probably something like Sweet Child of Mine, if you consider that hair metal.
Yeah, I wouldn't call them hair metal, but you know what I mean. Those mid 80s and above fucking songs. This is on that list. It is a classic for a reason. It's fun. You can listen to it. You can sing it. Even if you have fatigue, you still, and here I go again. It's in movies. It's in commercials. Coverdale has made a fortune on it, and so has Bernie Marsden. God bless him. He's earned it. The song went to number 34 in the UK in about 83 on the original version. And it is number 1 in the US. I still, I'm thinking about, there's not many hair metal bands that had number 1 songs ever.
Well, this is where David Coverdale and Whitesnake's gratitude to Tawny Katane starts to show up here.
The video, we'll get to that. But what I'm saying is, don't forget, Coverdale and them really are Kiss's age. Kiss, no one wants to hear. They're the old guys. No one on the radio wants to see them. Their videos get some play, but, the radio's not playing Kiss stuff. Well, they played his stuff. He's about the same age and stuff, and but they got away with it, and they moved their song to number 1. But A Reason to Live, a Turn on the Night, which is just as catchy or whatever, nowhere.
Well, I was just gonna say, the fact that Whitesnake got to number 1 with Here I Go Again, and Kiss couldn't even get Turn on the Night to go anywhere. Yeah. Is shocking to me, and the only thing I can think of here, and not to turn this into a Kiss episode here, is that a lot of people didn't know about Whitesnake's previous career.
Yeah. That exactly.
They're new.
You're rebranding.
They're new to a lot of people. Steven, go ahead, take it.
To the majority of the U.S., Whitesnake is a new band. They don't know about Coverdale and Deep Purple. They don't know about Whitesnake, Blues Snake from the UK. They don't understand all that. Everybody in the U.S. knew Kiss because it's a U.S. band. So Kiss was Kiss, and they were the old dudes.
Right.
But to Zeus's point, Coverdale and the Kiss guys, same age, man. Coverdale's no spring chicken.
Yeah.
No.
It's crazy.
But he was able to look and fit with the young guys.
Yeah.
And not seem out of place. The song is legendary for a reason. It's just a fun, catchy tune. Anyway, let's go to the video. What do you think?
So again, you can't, and I'm not trying to simplify this, but you cannot underestimate the power of these videos in turning this band into the world dominators that they were. Because in 1987, young men like us are watching MTV, and these videos were like softcore porn for 14-year-olds. I was 14 when these things came out.
Jaguar, a hot girl.
This and we haven't even, we'll wait until we get to the next video, but this video here, her spread eagle dancing across the hood of the thing, then her in that dress hanging out the window with her arms wrapped around, tongue in his ear, and just every fucking guy wanted this album because they thought it was going to bring him closer to Tawny Katane somehow.
Timing is everything.
Exactly.
And when it relates to MTV made so many bands. Bands like Duran Duran and Culture Club and Whitesnake and all these bands. And I watched that video, and the first thing that sticks out, other than Tawny, because she's beautiful, is I had to put a note here. I said, it makes me laugh that you got 3 dudes at keyboards playing the intro. None of them played keyboards on the intro, and you sure as fuck didn't need 3 keyboard players playing that part. Give me a break. So I had to laugh at that. That was hilarious. Just dumb.
I think the guy from Cameo was playing a guitar in that video. But you're right. The thing about her was her smile. She was beautiful. She wasn't well overdone. She's just a gorgeous figure. She didn't have fucking fake duck lips, big tits, fucking fall out. She was just gorgeous. And is now become, because of that, the cliche of a beautiful woman on the hood of a car in advertising.
The video vixen. Yeah, that's her.
The video vixen, but also the woman on top of the car, or the car and the woman. And, the Jaguar, he's got the fucking fancy suits, his big hair. He's like, good God, who's this fucking Coverdale guy? What's this rock star been living? Am I missing something?
Right.
Like, fucking looks like the ultimate playboy with this gorgeous, singing this great song. The band looks hot. They all look like so well produced. Like, all right, bassist, shake your head, lick your bass.
Lick your bass.
Over there, fucking put your hair up and twist it around. And, and it's always the band spread out. You, drummer, hide your face. Take the lights off him. Right? It it worked.
Yep.
And they came at the right time. Maybe, and if you think about it, Whitesnake may be a top 10 MTV success story.
Oh, without a doubt.
All those artists.
No doubt.
Michael Jackson, but Michael Jackson was already big. But obviously Michael Jackson.
Those Thriller videos. Yeah.
Madonna.
Yep.
Prince.
Yep.
Duran Duran. Like, videos really made them that big. And
we talk a lot about,
were probably one of the biggest.
Yeah.
We talk a lot about the music and the hair and things like that, but something that became pretty apparent to me when watching these videos is the actual fashion stylist, because if you look at Coverdale's clothes, it's like the pastel colors that were popular in the 80s. They got
like Tawny, Miami Vice.
Yeah, Tawny in this white flowing dress, right? Yep. And it's a lot like those colors really aren't that far off of, say, a Duran Duran. Same thing, right?
Yeah.
The pastel colors and things like that. So it's I think that was a huge part of it, was whoever's designing the fashions and the colors for these people during the 80s, basically.
Yeah, It's almost like one of those super group boy band managers that's like, okay, you're going to be the shy one.
Exactly.
You're going to wear your hair like this. Okay, we need a guy with some facial and tattoos. Okay, we're going to need every one of them is perfectly coiffed, good looking, and spread out. It's not the two of them rocking together. You can't tell who's who, but everybody's got their section of the performance video.
Yep.
And you pick up on that. So the band looks great. The lead singer looks great. And there's a hot girl and a great song. So nice formula. Let's turn the LP over. Side 2.
Give Me All Your Love. Absolutely incredible song. To me, this song has a vibe that it could have fit on the Slide It In album. I don't know, maybe that's just me. I absolutely love this song. I love the kind of like the bounciness, the catchiness of it. This is the pace of Whitesnake that I like. It's not heavy like Still the Night or Crying in the Rain. It's not as poppy as Here I Go Again, but it's still poppy. I love the breakdown. And one thing that kind of stood out when I was repeatedly listening to this, I love how he says, I'm a Fool for Your Lovin'. And then on the next album, there's a song with that title, Fool for Your Lovin'. Something like that's kind of cool. And another thing I noticed when you listen to this, as the song progresses, Coverdale's pitch gets higher and higher. So by the time the song is ended, he's like super like exasperated and all horned out and excited by the time the song ends. I just think this is an absolutely standout track. Just not even on this album, just for Whitesnake in general, Stephen.
Yeah, I enjoy this tune. I mean, I don't really have a whole lot of notes for it. It's just kind of a straight ahead pop tune, a little bit heavier than like, say, Here I Go Again, right? It's a little bit more straight rocking than that. I like it. Good chorus, good pre-chorus. Everything's good with this tune.
All right. So Give Me All Your Love. So, Tom, I think you're thinking of Give Me More Time from the previous album, Slide It In, which maybe it's like, all right, well, give me more time and give me all your love. You know, what's the difference?
Right.
It was technically the fourth single, and we'll get to the third single, which we skipped over. It made it to number 48 on U.S. Billboard, 22 mainstream rock. I think this is so catchy, popish, 87 hair metal, like probably a song that would fucking make Metallica and Megadeth rip their hair out. Like this fucking cheesy shit is fucking topping the charts. Like shit that pisses them off. But I'm sorry, try not to tap your foot, especially at that breakdown where it's just the fucking bass drum.
Oh, I love it.
And he had the
I love it.
The bass. Oh my God, the drum is just awesome. It's such a catchy fucking tune. Again, I look at it as like, get away from the big one of Here I Go Again, and then you got the two similar kind of Still the Night and Cry in the Rain. The rest of the songs, with the exception of Is This Love, is that, you know, Give Me All Your Love, Bad Boys, Straight to the Heart. You know, they all sound like that kind of catchy, popish, fast kind of Whitesnake sound, and they pull it off. You can't escape the catchiness and the melody, and he is so fucking melodic on this album. All of it, between John and fucking David Coverdale, it just works, and it just fits perfectly with the rest of the album. Mm-hmm. They did a video for this as well.
Yeah, it's a live video. It's essentially just a live video. So they pulled the whole Zeppelin thing where the plane flies in, the private jet flies in, and the limousines and the police escort are taking the band to the gig. And
all right.
It's just that's all it is. Really, is just a live performance clip. I mean, it's cool. Yeah, it's the first time you really get to see the band in a live situation. This band, anyway. You know.
Yep. Okay.
Oh, and I think they filmed it at the Meadowlands in Jersey.
Oh, okay.
I thought rumor had it that it was maybe in Worcester, but
I'm
thinking of that Kiss video that they filmed at the Centrum there.
That's right. Yep.
Regardless, this one is no Tawny Katane.
That's probably why it's forgettable.
Yeah. Anyway, let's go to the next track.
Is This Love? So, to me, one of the all-time great power ballads. When you talk about 80s power ballads, a few come to mind. This one definitely comes to mind right here. I kind of like the intro, how you kind of have just like that wave of synth, and then the drums and the bass kind of come in, and that light little plucking of the guitar, and then of course you got sultry, sexy, steamy David Coverdale kind of singing there, and just like we said that the chorus to Here I Go Again, this chorus is the most cookie cutter, paint by numbers 80s power ballad chorus you could ever imagine. And the title of the song, Is This Love or Am I Dreaming? It's like, but again, Coverdale makes it credible. Like Zeus said, it credible, because any other band could have done this and it would have just been like a disposable hair metal ballad, but it's a memorable one because of the people that are doing it. Steven, thoughts?
Some of the greatest music of all time throughout history is simplistic.
Yep.
To its core, simplistic. it's been proven time and time again. You don't have to create this masterpiece, opus. It doesn't matter.
Right.
People, the average music fan wants something that's memorable, and simple is usually memorable. I mean, I agree with you. It's an incredible power ballad. Again, not my shtick. So
right.
Give me Still of the Night or Bad Boys, and Bad Boys are cheesy lyrics, but it fucking rocks. And I've said this all along. I don't go to bands like Whitesnake or Van Halen or AC/DC to have power ballads. That's just me personally. Right. Is it memorable? Sure. But I go to these bands to rock. If I want power ballads or if I want something light in the listening, I'll go to, Michael Bolton or the Eagles or something like that, I mean, that's where I get my morning chill out music, I should say.
Fair enough.
Did you just lump the Eagles with Michael Bolton?
I was waiting for that. I was waiting for that.
Kidding me?
Look, it's the style of music. That's all I'm saying. Give me a break here.
All right. So I hope not.
You know I'm an Eagles fan.
I know, but Michael Bolton and the Eagles is a scary combo.
I'm thinking of adult contemporary music.
All right. That's fine. We So Is This Love? I'll be honest with you. Not a fan. Never liked this. And I like.
I didn't say I liked it.
Yeah. I mean, I like certain ballads of the 80s, hair metal. I think Home Sweet Home is one of the best songs of that era.
Oh, I agree.
Some of Bon Jovi stuff is fantastic. Okay, great. I get some of that stuff.
Yep.
This one is kind of cheesy.
Oh, I agree. Wicked.
Is this love that I'm feeling?
Or am I dreaming?
Yeah.
Is this the love?
Yeah, just hold. The video makes up for the song, but
get to the video. Let's get to the good stuff, as Paul would say.
But this isn't a skip song for me. It's just I'm not a favorite of mine. That's all I would say.
Okay.
So this made it to number 2 on U.S. Billboard. That has to do with following up Here I Go Again.
Oh yeah,
come on! Think of the great ballads of the era. This is not one of them.
No.
At least not for me, it's not.
No, I agree.
But it made it that high. Yikes. Whew. Anyways, the video.
As a 14-year-old boy, this video was really played on repeat. Yes, I had a VCR. Yes, I recorded it. Tawny Katane, Dear God. So I rewatched this video, or all these videos for the episode. Her dancing at the foot of the bed in that white dress and just being all flirtatious while David Coverdale is in his MC Hammer pants in his tank top. I mean, she is just absolutely next level. And then I don't understand what the obsession with was zooming in on David Coverdale at the end of the hallway. Every time they'd go to him, the camera would just roll onto his face. Like, I don't want to see you. Get back to her. To me, this is just this spectacular video. Just put it on mute if you don't want to hear the song. But to me, just next level, Stephen.
Yeah, so what a lot of people don't understand about this period of time with MTV is MTV ran radio. It wasn't the other way around where radio ran MTV.
Yep. Right.
The program directors for radio stations would go to MTV and say, what are you playing? That's what we'll start playing. So you just said exactly why the song got to number 2 was Tawny
video.
Katane.
That's right.
Yeah, because all the young kids at that time, especially the males, like you and I, right? We said, let me just keep watching this.
Exactly. Yes.
So that's it. MTV played it on repeat. We watched it on repeat, and then radio picked it up and said, this is what you're playing all the time. Great. So we'll start playing it. So the combination of radio airplay and MTV airplay pushed this thing to number 1. And I don't know what it was going up against, but, I'm almost surprised it didn't make it to number 1 and stalled out at number 2. But yeah, I mean, how can you get away from it? Tawny looks so damn good. It's sort of a lover's quarrel thing happening a little bit. They had Rudy looked especially cool in this video, right? He's playing the dual neck Steinberger bass without the headstocks on it. And, you know, why he certainly didn't need a bass like that in a song like this. Why? Because it looks cool. It looked cool. I think this is the first time he may have colored his hair, where his hair was a little bit different color, a little bit lighter, whatever. I don't know, but just the combination of everything for this video, the song, and Tawny, just home run.
Yep.
Yeah. So this, the video again is Marty Colliner. He did a bunch of their fucking videos.
Yeah, he did a lot of videos. Yeah,
back then. And I guess he did die a couple years ago, a couple days ago, but only picked up on it now recently. By the way, Fool for Your Lovin' was just like Here I Go Again and Cry in the Rain. That was on Ready and Willing. They just did an updated version of it. And the song is fucking like way over the top. If you thought John Sykes took these songs to a new level, fucking Fool for Your Lovin' is 15 million guitars going nuts all at the same time. Nothing like the Marsden Moody fucking song. But anyway, let's move to the next one.
Children of the Night. So we went from Bad Boys to Children of the Night. So, all right. Again, I know I sound like a broken record. Coverdale and the band saved this song. This is so friggin'... The lyrics are just horrible. And I'm sorry, Steven, I know we already talked about the, focus, but when the lyrics are this horrible, I can't avoid it. Like, it's just... So this is like we talk about Kiss. Like, this is fast Whitesnake. It's okay. It's not too fast. The solo absolutely rips. The band rips. Coverdale sounds great. But I don't know. The song, it's just, it doesn't do it for me. It just doesn't do it for me, Steven.
This is what I come to Whitesnake for, to rock. Okay,
fair enough.
I mean, are you ready to rock? Children of the Night. Come on, man.
That's like a Dio song. We rock. Like, that's Dio shit. But again, he's
exactly
in that family. So, okay, go ahead.
Like,
yes.
Fucking the Dracula movie. Children of
the Night.
It's fantastic, though. It's fast. Okay. Fast riffing. I love this shit. I'd much rather listen to this from my rock and roll bands than something like, Is This Love That
Fair
I'm
enough.
Feeling?
That's very pretty, Stephen.
You like that?
I did.
It's sultry. All right.
Thank
you.
I
hope you enjoyed that as much as I enjoyed you saying, Give me all your love.
Oh,
something I've been waiting to hear.
Oh, God. well, that's why you're here.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah, I like this tune. I mean, I like this. It's very similar to Bad Boys, really. This song, they're kind of brother and sister songs, and I mean, I don't agree with you. It's the typical cookie cutter lyrics of hard rock bands in the 80s. Children of the Night, here we go. Bad Boys, Rock the Night Away. It's all that shit. But like I said, I don't really pay too close attention to the lyrics because
fair enough.
Music's what grabs me.
Okay.
All right. So Children of the Night, if you really want to think, what I'm thinking about this, just go look at the second song we talked about, Bad Boys.
Bad Boys, yeah.
Very similar style.
Yep.
I don't skip this. I like it. It works. It's melodic. It's fun. Is it like groundbreaking? No, it's not. But it's still a fun, good song, and it works. I think they do a great version of it, but it's just, if this is like the deep cuts or the throwaway songs, good God, how great is this album? Because this song is still a pretty good song.
Yep.
Are you ready to rock? I don't know, a little bit.
I guess I'm ready.
Right now.
I'll be
in a couple of minutes.
Yeah, just let me take this little blue pill and I'll be ready. Give me a little bit.
I mean, you guys talked about it earlier. You're always talking about like your dorm days and college and for me, high school parties and things. That's all part of the Growin Up Rock years.
Yep.
This is, I mean, this takes me back, even though this was a little bit after the period of time of high school for me, but this takes me back to those high school backyard parties where you're chugging beer that you shouldn't be drinking as an underage person, and you're rocking and rolling, right? You're listening to this music, and that's killer to me.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right.
I love it. I think it's a continuation of every good song that's on this album that works. And I'm with you. I would take it over Is This Love any day.
Oh, me too. I would too, even if I'm not crazy about it, but yeah.
All right. Second to last song.
Straight for the Heart. Okay. Oh, God, this album. This is not a good song. It's way too fast. I need mid to upper tempo from Whitesnake. Like I need Give Me All Your Love. I need, even Bad Boys or Cry. This is too much. The chorus is terrible with the backing vocals screaming over him, straight to the heart, whatever. This is just not a good song. And when you look at the two songs that were left off the North American release, I don't know how this made it and neither one of those didn't, because to me, it's a little bit too frenetic for Whitesnake for me. I want a little bit more melodic kind of hard rock and this is not what I want. Steven.
I'm 100% with you here. And I don't want to tip my hand, but I'm going to tip my hand.
Okay.
Whitesnake had 7 killer songs and said, you know what, boys, we got a great album, but we need a couple more songs. And they were like, all right, well, here's Straight for the Heart and Don't Turn Away. Fizzle for me. And maybe that's why this record, as much as I love this record, and I do love this record, and it was a big record of my Growin Up Rock years, this record, I don't talk about it often with like the Van Halens or the AC/DCs or whatever, insert my favorite bands here, because this record tends to fizzle out a little bit for me on these last 2 tunes. And It starts here with Straight for the Heart. It's just, if you listen to this record in full, which songs don't sound like the others? These last 2 don't necessarily sound like the other songs to me.
Right.
So
I agree with you, but we'll save our final thoughts for the final song. But so far, I agree with you. Yeah.
Yeah. That's just my opinion. That's
okay.
all.
Yeah, of course. That's why you're here, Zeus.
And your opinion is wrong.
Yeah.
What's wrong with you people? It sounds the same as the other songs.
Way too fast.
Way too fast. Too fast. What's this, Metallica? What do you mean too fast?
What don't you understand? It's too fast. It's faster than. It's faster than
love. It's probably the same speed, if that.
Okay, if you think that, then you have a problem interpreting tempo. It's not even close.
What? Oh, you're wrong.
It's not even. You think Straight from the Heart is the same tempo as Give Me All Your Love?
It has got so much melody to it.
No.
Stand and deliver in the name of love.
It's not good.
Fast?
That's not good. It's too fast.
Well, you may not like it, but it's not fast.
It is. Okay.
I'm coming after you. I'm telling you what I'm gonna do. I'm going.
Just because you sing in the lyrics doesn't mean it's not fast.
If it was too fast, I wouldn't be able to sing the fucking lyrics.
So
I can sing the lyrics to Master of Puppets, and that's faster than anything.
So do you not like this song because of the tempo and that's it? I mean, that's not the reason I don't like it.
That's why I don't like it. I don't like it because of the tempo, yes.
To me, it just doesn't, I guess it's music for me. It just doesn't seem to fit the melody, and to me, it sounds different than all the rest of the songs.
I think it sounds similar as the other ones. Outside of the 3 singles with Give Me All Your Love out of there, I think the rest of the album sounds exactly the same.
Okay.
And it sounds a little bit like, dare I say, Whitesnake. If you listen to some of their older stuff, it fits Coverdale's fucking personality, and I don't think it's fast at all. I don't understand where that's coming from. I look at it as a melodic, decent song that fits the album, no different than Bad Boys and Children of the Night. So I would think if you don't like this, I to me, they sound similar. You wouldn't like the other ones. None of these are groundbreaking. Fucking, oh my God, this should have been bigger than Turn on the Night and fucking Still the Night. No, but they're still, to me, I like these songs. I think they're decent. And still Straight from the Heart. And then the next song, which is this.
So we wrap up the album with Don't Turn Away. Now, this is going to be weird. Steven kind of tipped his hands here. I like this song. I can't believe I like this song. It's corny. It's cheesy. Steven's right. It doesn't fit the rest of the album. It's kind of cookie cutter-ish. I don't know what it is about it, but I think it's Coverdale's voice again. I know I sound like a broken record, but this guy is saving some of these songs. We'll get into that when we do final thoughts, but I think the chorus is very cool. And one of my notes here is I wrote, if any other band did this song, it would be horrendous and we would be laughing at it. But because it's Coverdale and it's this band, I like it. I think it's very, I've used the word again. I've used this word already, so forgive me for repeating myself. It's very derivative of the era. It's very Def Leppard-ish, Bon Jovi-ish, pop metal-ish, and that's what they were trying to do. But I don't mind it. Steven.
Hey, fair enough. Out of the two songs, Straight for the Heart and Don't Turn Away, I like Straight for the Heart better than Don't Turn Away. However, here's what I would tell you. If you ask 90% of the people to name all the songs on Whitesnake's 87 thing, they would name every song on here except for these last two. Probably. Nobody remembers Straight for the Heart and Don't Turn Away, and there's a reason for that.
Zeus is flipping out.
It's not because they didn't make a video for it. They didn't make a video for Crying in the Rain. They didn't make a video for Children of the Night. So it's not the video portion of it. But everybody's going to be able to tell you, Crying in the Rain, Bad Boys, Still of the Night, Here I Go Again, Give Me All Your Love, Is This Love, Children of the Night. They're not going to tell you Straight for the Heart or Don't Turn Away. No freaking way are they going to tell you that. That's all.
Okay.
That's my 2 cents.
That's what we want to hear.
You're smoking crack again, buddy. So,
I love it.
How do you, like, no offense, there's no difference in Children of the Night. No one is like, oh, Children of the Night, I'm going to go jerk off to it.
Oh,
Dude,
fucking Children of the Corn.
They're jerking off the fucking Straight to the Heart or Don't Turn Away. It's all the same. Those are the deep cuts, and it fits the album. The mood is the same.
Okay.
Don't Turn Away sounds like, it's similar to me. It reminds me a little bit of Till the Day I Die. That moody little play into like the acoustic melody into something, and it works because, as Tom is saying, and that's why I think Straight for the Heart still works. Coverdale is just an amazing vocalist. His melody is right there, and he can make these songs work, which is why I think Is This Love, which is slowed down to it's not even really a ballad. That song's just a cheesy little bluesy kind of trying to be sexy number. I don't even think it's really ballady, but regardless, I think he makes this work on Don't Turn Away. Oh man, it fucking works. Yeah, I think he's got great melody. I think Sykes is doing his usual thing, and the two of them, to combine together, make for a incredible combination. This song is a nice way to close this, but If I don't remember this, then I don't remember Children of the Night, or I don't remember Bad Boys. No offense. Not that they're bad songs. I'm just saying they all fit in the same thing. Everybody remembers the big hits.
Yep.
If you remember this album, there's no reason why you wouldn't remember the last couple songs, in my opinion.
All right. Well, that's what we had. That's why we do this show.
So, final thoughts. Start with Tom.
So, I've said this throughout, the track by track here. So the album sounds great. I love Coverdale. It's a phone book type of voice. He's got incredible melody range. He can growl. He can be sultry. He can do everything. He just makes every song better. And we sang the praises of the band here, specifically John Sykes. He's just absolutely incredible. That being said, I think those two guys save this album from complete and total mediocrity, because I think there's a lot of songs on here that are not very good. And I think that those guys make. If any other band, I've said this before, if this album was done by any other band that didn't have David Coverdale and John Sykes, we would not be talking about it right now. Now, I know Still the Night and Here I Go Again, those are like iconic songs, Give Me All Your Love, and they're good songs. Some, in my opinion, are great. But I just think this album is a little bit overrated. I think the videos and what Tawny Katane did, as Steven hinted, I think that lends this album to its legendary status. And I think the musicianship and the vocals on it also do that. But song-wise, I think some of these songs are just average at best. It's a great listen because it sounds that good. So I know it sounds like I'm talking out of both sides of my mouth, but it's hard to put it into words that the album sounds great, but some of the songs are not great, Stephen.
Yeah, I think I understand what you're saying, Tom, and I agree with a lot with what you're saying. I think that if this record comes out and MTV does not exist, this record blows away in the wind. I think there are some great cuts on this record. I love the cuts that I love on this record. I think it's a quintessential 80s hair band album to own. It's not a perfect record by any means for me. It's sold over 25 million records worldwide. Somebody likes this record, and I think it's the combination of the music and MTV that sold this record. And the band looked great, and listen, the band could replicate this music live. All the band were players. The band that they put together to tour this record were players, and they sold it live. They went out there and they played their asses off for who knows how many dates, probably tons of dates out there that they played to sell this record. So it's the perfect storm. And yeah, we're here. We are all these years later still talking about it, right?
Yep.
So Whitesnake, the album, top 10, probably what was considered hair metal albums, easily.
Okay.
I think it's quintessential of this era. I think it's one of the best of this era. I don't compare it to earlier Whitesnake. I just think this and Slide In and in the one afterwards, Slip of the Tongue, are just a different band. So I can't compare it to earlier Whitesnake, which I probably like more than this.
Me too.
I think this is a complete album. I don't think there's any duds on here. I can listen to this all the way through. When I put this on, we got back into this and we had to do this. I listened to it in the car. This was the easiest car ride I've ever had. Doing
Me too.
ARC. Like, I could listen to this all the way through. Every song was great. And, I have my 16-year-old. Why the fuck would she know Whitesnake? She knew what fucking Here I Go Again was. As soon as that went on, she knew exactly what that song is.
Exactly.
And that's the legacy of this album.
Yep.
It's not supposed to work this way. A band that used to be a blues rock band isn't supposed to get a second act, 15 years later and have one of the biggest albums of a decade. But I think it's what Steven said. They didn't just get pretty young boys to be in the videos to make Coverdale look young and fit the time. He got fucking players, real players that can pull this shit off. And that also gave other musicians, like, that's a fucking sick lineup right there. Yep. Right. And it worked. I think it's a snapshot of an era. It defines almost an era. And it's great music. When I think of all the albums that are considered hair metal and all this other stuff, dude, if I'm grading on a curve, this is out of the park compared.
100%. 100%. You're right.
Compared to the contemporaries. If what you're looking as Don't Turn Away and Straight to the Heart and Bad Boys as like the weaker tracks, fucking compare that to like the best tracks of some of those bands.
Dude, those would be the 3 best songs if they were on Look What the Cat Dragged In.
Yes, they would, in my opinion. But again, I think it goes back to the main 2 people, obviously. And don't get me wrong, Neil Murray's a fucking great, and Aynsley Dunbar is a great drummer too. But fucking Sykes and Coverdale just hit it out of the park. on this specific album. And I'm glad that the public gave it a chance, unlike what they did with Kiss in this era. So that's great.
Good point. Yep, I like it.
All right. So what we're doing is we're going to rank these songs. So
Okay.
there's 9 tracks. Tom, lead us off, then Steven, and I'll go.
All right, number 9 for me is Straight for the Heart.
Number 9 for me is Don't Turn Away.
Okay.
Oh, Is This Love by far.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's my number 8.
My number 8 is Straight for the Heart.
Okay.
My number 8 is Bad Boys. And I like the song.
Okay. That's my number 7, Steven.
My number 7 is This Love?
Okay.
My number 7 is Children of the Night.
Well, Zeus, we're keeping the streak alive. That's my number 6,
Okay.
Steven.
My number 6 is Here I Go Again.
Whoa!
Do you see a trend?
I get it.
happening, fellas?
I get it.
Rice. Really? All right. 6 for me. I'm going to go with, I already did Bad Boys. Right? I'll go with Straight from the Heart.
Okay. Number 5 for me is Don't Turn Away.
My number 5 is Give Me All Your Love.
Wow. Number 5. Okay.
Yeah. All right. So number 5 for me, I'll go with, Don't Turn Away.
Okay. Number 4 for me is Here I Go Again.
My number 4 is Children of the Night.
Okay.
Number 4 for me, Crying in the Rain.
Okay. And that's my number 3, Steven.
My number 3 is also Crying in the Rain.
Okay.
Number 3 for me, I'll go with Give Me All Your Love.
Okay. And that's my number 2.
My number 2 is Bad Boys.
Okay.
Number 2 is Still the Night.
Oh, I was hoping we were going to get the straight across. Damn it. Yeah, number 1 for me is Still the Night.
Number 1 for me, Still in the Night.
I can't.
You went with Here I Go Again at number 1?
Yeah, I'm not fatigued with it.
Really? Okay.
It's just
How the fuck?
That's
it's
surprising,
a
but
brilliant
okay.
song.
Okay.
I'm not fatigued with it yet.
Okay, fair enough.
You're entitled to your opinions, even when they're wrong.
I hear you. Wow. All right. Well, what we do next is this. Stephen, what makes you rock hard?
Oh, I thought about this long and hard. Pardon
I'm
the
sure you
pun.
did.
I could have gone so many ways, but honestly, coming off of Mork, here's what makes me rock hard.
Okay.
Discovering new music or band live that puts a smile on your face. So this has happened to me twice in the last year or so. I see a band live on Monsters of Rock Cruise that just blows me away, especially when I didn't know really what to expect. That happened this year with the band Massive Wagons. Incredible live band. So
I've heard
good.
of them.
But it also happens when you're just listening to streaming music and it goes and picks random shit for you that says, you listen to this kind of shit, check this band out, kind of thing.
Yep.
And it's on autoplay, and something comes up, and you're like, holy shit, I can't stop dancing to this. What is this? And you go and you find out what it is, and you've never heard of it before. And then you go and you listen to the record, and you're like, man, I really love this shit. Where have these guys been all my life? That kind of thing. That kind of thing at my age makes me super happy. Like, I can still fall in love with bands and music at my age, and that makes me super happy and rock hard, so to speak.
That's organic too, I would say, because you're not going to school with all your friends buying this new T-shirt or listening to this band. That's you discovering something on your own. So you're not going to be playing that music if you don't really like it.
Right.
You like it with all the noise and the fucking what they're telling you to like, and not like your friends, the media, social media, everything. No, you like it, and that's fantastic.
Right.
That's cool. Nice. So for me, I always like to recommend movies that I discover, and sometimes they're horror movies, thriller movies. But this movie, I wanted to see this in the theaters, but I never made it out to the theaters. And then it finally was available free on streaming. And it's a movie that just came out last year. It came out in the fall, actually. It came out in November. It's a movie called Heretic. And it stars Hugh Grant in one of the most terrifying roles that you could ever imagine in your life. Hugh Grant was nominated for Best Actor at the Golden Globes, the Critics' Choice Awards, the BAFTA Awards. And the guys who did the screenplay got an Independent Spirit Award for the screenplay. So briefly, it's a movie about these two young girls. They're missionaries. They're Mormon missionaries. And they arrive at the home of Hugh Grant. And right off the bat, you know that something is off, and it's super, super tension filled. Like it's that kind of movie that just makes you angsty. And it turns into this like cat and mouse game, this like mind fuck of a game that involves like religion and belief and like different things. The ending, it goes off the rail. Even if you're not a horror fan, I mean, there's one little part of a little bit of, graphic violence, but nothing that you've never seen before. But Hugh Grant's performance alone is worth the recommendation here because he's just chilling. And to think that this is the same guy that always played like the goofy, lovable, British guy in the romantic comedies, and to see him do this, just shocking. Very good movie.
What's that streaming on, Tom?
I think I watched it on Max.
Okay.
Yeah,
so,
and I think it's available to rent on Prime Video too. But I think if you have Max, it's on there.
I do.
So
it's
I'm going to shit
H-E-R-E.
myself watching this, am
Yeah.
I?
Yes, you will. Yes.
I don't want to see it.
Yeah.
I don't know how the fuck you do that shit. Why you would like, especially when you like, there are times you Michael's not there, you're home alone. Why do you watch this shit? Aren't you ever scared out of your mind?
No, I cuddle with my dog.
Dude.
It's H-E-R-E-T-I-C. Haircut.
Correct. Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yep.
Cool.
Yep.
I've always wanted to get into your brain about this stuff. Like, hey, something's gonna scare the fucking shit out of you
Because it makes you feel alive. It makes you feel like,
oh, great! It's like, why the fuck am I putting myself in this?
I don't know. It's fun.
Just someone's gonna throw you off a plane. You'll live, but for a while you're gonna shit yourself and be scared out of your mind.
Don't do that. That's my ultimate nightmare. Is fucking having a go. Don't even talk about that. But go ahead.
All right. So I wanted to during the election campaign, I love the fucking politics stuff. And my favorite like political consultant is James Carville. I've liked him.
Oh God, that guy.
Loved him since the Clinton days.
Yeah.
And there's a documentary about him.
Really?
It's really about his whole life and obviously his relationship, which is almost like a Hollywood dream where he married Mary Matlin, the Republican lady, and the two of them are still happily married. They don't really talk politics, and it just documents his life. And you see this really, really authentic guy from Louisiana living like, ew, this is fucking gross. Like eating like shit that you wouldn't eat and living this simple life. Born like in like the only white guy in this all black area. Just a complete failure.
Yeah.
He fucking dropped out of school. He dropped out of college, went to the Marines, came back, got a law degree, and he even admits that he was fucking terrible. Campaigned, like became a consultant. All his candidates lost all the fucking time. Everybody was just like, because nobody would listen to him. And he had this he just knew people. He loved to talk to people, but consultants are like, hey, you shouldn't be. Anyways, he eventually takes a guy from Pennsylvania in a special election and beats Bob Casey, who was unbeatable at the time in Pennsylvania. And then he meets Clinton, and it was like magic. And just documenting that and what his theories are on politics and people and shitting on
I like him.
The liberal part of the party.
Yeah.
And I still think him and Clinton are right in the right spot in the party. And fucking he has no use for the fucking woke side of the party. Yeah. And he spits out shit without a filter. an authentic fucking curmudgeon fucking Cajun.
The Raging Cajun.
Yeah.
What's the documentary on? What's it on?
It's him. It's called Carville Winning is Everything Stupid. And
where can you find it?
It was CNN. It was CNN Films, but I wonder if it was Netflix or where did I catch it? I think it's
on Max.
It's on Max. So, look, you don't have to be a Republican or a Democrat to want to see this. I think he's a fascinating guy. It's a story of the U.S. politics too.
That's cool. I like him.
60s, 80s, and all the way up, and when Democrats could never win the presidency, and how whatever ended up happening, and it just he's a wealth of knowledge and a fucking hilarious dude. He has luggage. This part was fucking insane. So he goes all the time in speaking things. The way he has his luggage is like for like 2 weeks, he only has like one set of pants, and he teaches people, like, I don't know how cheap he is. Like, oh, if you go in the morning and you get this thing up, then it's ready by the afternoon. So I only bring one pair of clothing because I get it pressed in the morning, and then I get it back that night. And when I go, in the morning, it's just fucked up. It's just, just that weird how, like, to me, a Southerner or a Cajun guy, Louisiana lives, and he's still pretty authentic, and he's, money hasn't gotten to him. So it's
cool.
Interesting shit.
Nice. Awesome.
Anyway, we always like to leave with our guests with plugs. Steven, tell us about Growin Up Rock. You just had a big celebration, didn't you?
Yeah, we just celebrated our 400th episode. So
congratulations, my friend.
Thank you.
With fucking Sonny Pooney, who you never met in person before you started your show.
That's right. You learn to live with somebody over the course of time. So it's all good. But we've been going strong now for 8 years, I think.
That's awesome.
That's what it comes down to. And I tell people, look, if you're into hard rock or the music you grew up with in the 80s for us, I say the Growin Up Rock years are your high school years where you're sharing music with your friends and learning and absorbing all this new music that's out there that's new to you at the time. That's really the Growin Up Rock years for me. And then we always like to, get into some of the newer music or the music that sounds a lot like the music we grew up with. And so we try to spotlight new bands and things like that. And it's a lot of, a lot of album reviews, things like this that we just did, and just, polls, various listener polls and just topics that we like to discuss. We do the year in rock, when rock ruled the charts, where we take a year and look at the music charts and what was happening at the time, because you can tell a lot about that. You can tell a lot about the time by the music that's happening in the charts. And I find that stuff fascinating,
Nice. Awesome. Well, congrats, buddy. I mean, we listen to the show. We've been there for all the time we've been here. So
yeah. And you guys have been on episodes as well. Yep. So, 400 episodes, go find what you like and come back and check it out from time to time. If you like it, then listen to it. You can find it anywhere that you find any podcast. So
between the two of you, I don't know how the fuck you guys listen to so much music. Like, when do you have the time? You guys are discovering new music, and people that are out there that like that stuff, newer music, Swedish bands, things like that. Growin Up Rock will introduce you to all that. I just don't know where the fuck you have the time to listen to all this music.
I'll be honest with you. The majority, we don't listen to. I spend the majority of my time either doing homework for the podcast, meaning listening, revisiting old records that we're going to talk about, or revisiting classic stuff, or listening to new stuff, getting ready for the podcast episodes. That's pretty much it. I mean, look, I say the same thing about guys like you. Like, how the fuck do you people have time to do all these posts and things? Because I'm not much of a social media person. Like,
we split the duties. That's how.
I don't push the podcast much at all. I mean, once in a while, I'll send a post out there and say, hey, look, we got the Facebook page. We got the Loud Minority Facebook page and things like that. But I don't have time or the patience for social media. It's like, look, if
You
you've
gotta have
been
the
around,
face like Tom and I. That's what
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah.
I mean, if you've been around long enough, like, you know, people usually end up finding you. I mean,
Oh yeah, totally.
we still get emails and stuff from people that are like, holy shit, I just found you guys. I love you. You know, I'm going back in the catalog. And I'm like, good luck with that. 400 episodes.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Have at it, you know, because somebody sent me an email the other day and they didn't say a whole lot, but they referenced episode 239. So I'm like, what the fuck are they talking about? You know, because 239 is like a lifetime ago, right?
Right.
And,
yeah, absolutely.
Once we record it and we put it out there in the world, we don't listen to it again, you know? So
You don't we put all stuff on YouTube, right?
no, we don't. Sonny
Those
and
are
I-
always fun. So we just put the episode in just with the logo, just so
Yeah.
people can that access and love YouTube, right? We get
Right.
stuff like I had one this week, and I'm before we got on, I'm putting stuff in email slots. I'm putting stuff like episode 7.
I saw that.
1.
Yep.
Like, who the fuck is commenting on that? Or
Yeah.
other stuff that it's
From like 6 years ago. I'm like,
yeah,
wow.
like, oh, I was listening to your review on Gene Simmons' solo album and arguing with us on the post. How the fuck do you like that song, but you don't like this song? Like,
It was like episode 8. I'm like, I don't remember that.
Yeah. People go down these rabbit holes,
Yeah.
especially on YouTube. And
Yep.
I
Yes.
never understood why do you want to listen to a podcast on video, especially of
If there
either-
is no video.
yeah, or of people talking, like that's not exciting to me. If I'm going to listen to a podcast, I usually listen to it. I always listen to it in my car.
yeah,
when
exactly.
I'm driving.
Same here.
Yep.
Same
Yep.
here. Same.
You know, so I don't understand the video craze for YouTube. Like, you know, I watch travel videos and things where it's a visual thing and you can see it and you want to see it and things like that. But I don't podcast shit. I like
It's
my
all about
audio
multitasking, Steven. So if I'm
Yeah.
like in
Right.
the car, I'll listen to you guys. If I'm at home, my options that I have, I'm not looking at Sonny Pooney's face.
That's
at
right.
home.
Or listening.
But like,
right.
you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to look at him. I'll waste that when I'm in the car. I don't. I'm gonna sit there and like instead of watching a great new documentary, I'm gonna watch people talking.
I'm 100%. I'm 100% the exact
Doesn't
same.
work for me.
I've never done it. Yeah, I've never watched a podcast. And if I have, it's on my phone. Like if I'm got a couple minutes at work, I'll pull up something. But the people that sit down and watch, I just don't. I've just never
Yeah.
done that.
Stop talking to me, family. I'm listening
Yeah.
to somebody describe the difference between Judas Priest and Iron Maiden. Stop.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
No.
I'm like Zeus. If I'm at home, I'll watch a movie or I'll watch a TV
Yeah,
show.
like I don't
Yeah.
have that free time. And if I do, I ain't watching one of these ugly podcasters.
No, I don't want to. They all
Us
have
included.
faces. They all have faces for radio.
Yeah,
So
exactly. So
Yeah.
what's the website too, Steven? I know you do have a website, right?
Yeah, you can go to the website. It's growinguprock at .com. So it's growinUPROCK.com. It's not spelled like growing, it's growing.
Yep.
You're like every
GROW.
Kiss song.
Yeah,
There's always an
GROWIN.
N with an apostrophe. I know.
That's right.
All right. Well, he is the great Stephen Michael from the Growin Up Rock Podcast. Thank you, Stephen, for joining and helping us out with Whitesnake. Appreciate you, brother.
Thank you, fellas, for having me on. I appreciate you guys inviting me to do this.
thanks, Steven. Love having you. Love hanging with you, talking music. So we really appreciate it. Thanks, buddy.
Cheers.
Tom, that was Stephen Michael from the Growin
Great
Up Rock
stuff.
Podcast.
Yep.
And that was us breaking down Whitesnake.
Mm-hmm. Good
You know what
stuff.
comes next?
Oh boy, here we go. Oh
Yeah.
boy, it's a big one.
Oh,
It's a big one.
right.
Right.
Maybe
But
I
he,
can
but he told me.
he told me. All right, Tom, the first thing we do is we always rank the album cover. What do you
Yes.
got as your top 5?
Right now, my top 5 is at number 5, Rage Against the Machine, Blizzard of Oz, Purple Rain, Master of Puppets, Diary of a Madman. This cover is simple, but I think it's very cool. I like that emblem and I like the cracked, wall, whatever you got there. So putting it probably a little higher than it should be, but I do think it's cool. I'm putting it at 22.
Tom, album cover, top 5, Diary of a Madman, Appetite for Destruction, Blizzard of Oz, Hotel California, Elvis NBC TV special. Where am I putting this? I am going to put this at, let's go with 16.
Okay.
Underneath Once Bitten and above Purple.
All right.
Over to you, buddy, and we're going to go to albums.
Okay. So albums right now, number 5, High and Dry, Shout at the Devil, Purple Rain, Moving Pitches, and Master O Puppets.
Did you say moving bitches? What'd
Moving
you say?
bitches, yeah. I say the same. I mean, we only do this episode once a month, so I don't care if I repeat myself. This is just getting increasingly difficult. It's the 60-second album we reviewed, and it's getting to be difficult here. You heard the episode. It's a good album. It's not great. It's 9 songs. Some of the songs are not great. So that's going to suffer for me. I'm putting this down at number 42.
Oh, wow. I didn't expect that.
Yeah.
Really?
Yep. It's not better than Slide It In. It's not better than Metallica Load. It's not better than Super Unknown. It's not better than Blizzard of Oz. The biggest fuck up ranking I have here is Come and Get It at 36. I still don't understand that. Good album, but give me a break.
You have Come and Get It as the best Whitesnake album.
That's such a mistake. I mean, it's a good album, but it's not better than Slide It In. But anyways,
right.
Yeah, I have this low, so I know.
So for me, I have.
But I love it. But I like the album.
Okay.
So.
All right. So for me, I have my top 5: Blizzard of Oz, Hotel California at 4, 3 Automatic for the People, 2 Purple, and number 1 Elvis NBC TV special. Where am I putting this? I'm like you. Do I put this above Slide It In or below it?
No, it's not better than Slide It In.
Is it better than Come and Get It?
No.
For me?
No.
I'm going to put this at 29.
Okay.
Above 7,800 Fahrenheit, but below Rainbow's Difficult to Cure.
Okay.
I love it.
29. Okay.
Yeah. But 28, can't happen here, and other songs just stick out for me. There's nothing on this album that's top 10 song for me.
That's the problem. And that's the problem with these rankings now I have to stop being like, okay, well, this album has 1 or 2 spectacular songs and the rest of it's pretty good. It's just getting very hard to rank this shit, And plus, we do this once a month, so everything is very mood oriented. So you can tell, you go back and look at this, you're like, how the hell is this album ranked here? Because at the time that we recorded, you were feeling it. You know what I mean? Your mood had changed because you were so invested in the album.
Absolutely. And what's funny is it's you're like, okay, if I'm you always look at the surrounding albums. You're like, yep, that's better than this. That's better than this. It's not as good as this. But then you'll look up even further and you're like, wait a minute, how the fuck is that up there? That's not better than these 3 albums.
Dude, I say that all the time. I say that all the time when I look at some of these albums. I don't get it.
Yeah. Yep. So Whitesnake, I think it's a great album. It's
I like it. Yeah.
42, 29 for me. The problem is I love basically almost all these albums that are on here.
Yep.
And then I like some, and then there's some that I'm not really listening to. I don't despise anything. Moving Pictures is my least thing, and I think I was probably trolling when I did that. I'll be honest with you, there's a couple songs in there that aren't bad. So it's not like none of these albums to me are anything that's so bad that I'm like, I can't listen to this shit.
So the way I look at it, my personal barometer here is, do I have the vinyl for this, or would I buy it? So I own the 30th anniversary of Whitesnake 1987 on vinyl. It's that good. If I own the vinyl, I like the album, and I like this album. So, I mean, I have Come and Get It on vinyl. I have Slide It In on vinyl. I mean, all that stuff.
You start getting wait until we start doing Ready and Willing and everything else.
There you go.
Or Slip of the Tongue. We could go one or the other way. We can go back to
Slip of the Tongue.
More bluesy or more way over the top hair metal shit.
Slip of the Tongue's a fun album. Oh, I like that.
Yeah, it's going to be one or the other. And I mean, I'm looking at your bottom, 7,800 Fahrenheit. You ain't turning off In and Out of Love. You're probably cranking that up.
Tokyo Road's fucking awesome.
But then the rest of it, you're like, it doesn't work for me. I don't know.
Right.
But there's nothing that's so bad. Same thing with me. Like, am I gonna? If Tom Sawyer comes on the radio, I ain't turning it off.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
we haven't had any album to me. Obviously, we've had some bad albums, or in my opinion, we've had some bad albums. But I feel like every album has at a minimum one song.
Yeah,
that's like really
Bullet
good.
Boys has fucking Smooth Up. I like that song.
Is fun. Even Bad English has a fun. What?
But that does have Ode to Joe.
Although I'll tell you right now, if you put a gun to my head, I don't know a single song off the Heat album. Yeah. Not one.
I like some of it. I don't know what it was. I don't know which song. But
I don't remember any of it. I don't remember any of it. I'm sorry. That's not an indictment of Sonny or the band. It's just I don't know. Sorry.
I don't remember anything either.
I don't remember it.
If you go, I will give you $1 million right now. Hum the melody to any song on that album. I'll be like, I just lost $1 million.
I just lost $1 million. I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it. Nope.
Tom, where can people find us?
Always go to our website, shoutitoutloudcast.com. If this is your first time hearing us, we are an all-Kiss podcast, dropping Kiss-related episodes every Saturday. But we do the album review crew once a month, where we pick an album that is not Kiss, or in this case, our Patreon voted on this one. So check us out at shoutitoutloudcast.com. You can find all of the information there, all of our social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Threads, our email address at shoutitoutloudcast@gmail.com. And I always like to say, of course, that we are a proud member of the Pantheon Podcast Network of shows.
Oh, Tom, I just thought about it. Slip of the Tongue has The Kitten's Got Claws.
Oh, yeah, of course it does. Well, it can't be worse than, ow, 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 ow.
All right. Well, Tom, let's end on famous last words. You got any?
Oh, I do.
All right.
I know you. You know me. I'm the black sheep of the family. I'm in and out of trouble. I'm the talk of the town. I get wild in the street when the sun goes down. Oh, okay, David Coverdale.
Oh, okay.
Everybody in the 80s was getting wild in the street.
With the boys. Oh.
Yeah.
All right, Tom, I got one for you. I'm getting ready.
Here we go.
I'm in the mood to fool around. It's time for action. Now the boys are back in town. Man. All right. Loudcasters, Kiss Army, Whitesnake Tards, Steve and Michael from the Growin Up Rock Podcast. Tom, thank you.
Steven, thank you. Great episode. Tons of fun as always. Thank you, David Coverdale Tards, Bad Boy Tards, Whitesnake Tards, whatever you want. Zeus
wild in the street, Tards.
Yeah. Go wild in the street after you listen to this episode. Zeus is always my friend. Thank you.
Peace out, Girl Scout.
Shout it out loud, yeah. Shout it